Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cherie and I am coming to you as promised with a part 2 of my cancer scare journey. Today I'll be talking to you about my biopsy and BI-RADS scores. I'm coming to you to talk to you about BI-RADS scores because there's not a lot of information out there. By no means necessary. I am no doctor. These are the things that I researched on my own. These are the things that I educated myself. So if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to go to your doctor and get the information and the answers that you need. So before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel and press that bell notification so that every time I post a video, you'll be the first one to get it. So let's jump right into it, okay? So where I left off at was me talking to you about not getting a paper being handed to me about me having to get a biopsy done. I had to get a biopsy done on my right breast, and I had to get a biopsy done because they found a mass and I had calcification in my breast. So I think I touched a little bit about calcification, but I'll go over it a little bit more. So calcification is basically like salt pebbles, or to try to describe it the best of my ability, that's inside the breast. Sometimes it's in both of the breasts, sometimes it's in one of the breasts, sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, and these things determine whether you have DCIS, which is early breast cancer, or you don't have breast cancer at all. So that's what's going on with me. I had calcification and I had a mass. So let me just get into this. So as I found out about these things, I went through my portal and I scrolled down and I seen the word BI-RADS score. This is a score that radiologists use to determine if we need a biopsy, the findings of what they found, and they need to score us to see if we need to come back or we need a biopsy, or for sure they know that this is cancer, so we definitely need a biopsy, if that's making any sense. So I'm just going to go through really quickly about the BI-RADS score. So BI-RADS scores are from 0 to 6. 0 meaning that you need to come back for more imaging. So basically it's just like incomplete, right? So 1 meaning negative, like there's no findings, there's nothing going on. Number 2 is non-cancerous findings. So maybe they found something, a cyst or something like that, but it's definitely like nothing to be alarmed about. Number 3 score is that they did find something, but most likely it's benign, but they're gonna need you to come back in 6 months, not a year. They're not comfortable enough for you to come back in that year. They're comfortable enough for you to come back in 6 months so they can just be sure that nothing is wrong. Number 4 is a suspicion, and they definitely need to biopsy. They are not sure if you have cancer or you don't have cancer. High likely, the most people that fall under suspicious of BI-RADS 4, 80% do not have breast cancer, but that 20 might. So that's the reason why they need to do a biopsy. Number 5 is that they are very certain that you have breast cancer, so they're definitely gonna have to do a biopsy, and that's just that, right? And number 6 is that they did the biopsy and they found out you have cancer, and now they need to figure out the actions and the treatments of what they need to do. So that is BI-RADS number 6. So let me get into what BI-RADS score I had. I had number 4. So which meant that my findings was suspicious and they needed to biopsy it, right? So let's get into the day I needed to do a biopsy. So my day that I needed to do the biopsy was March 17th, which was actually St. Patrick's Day. My appointment, I can't remember the time of my appointment, but I went there and it was in Long Island. So one thing about me, before I went, I prayed, and I am a strong believer that you should pray to God and talk to him freely. Ask him what you want, tell him what you want, tell him what you need. Doesn't mean that you're going to get it right then and there, or doesn't mean that you're going to get it at all, but just pray at the end of the day. And that's exactly what I did. So fast forward, I went to my appointment. I walked into the facility. First off, let me start about this facility was nothing like Queens. This facility in Long Island, first of all, was clean. Not saying that Queens wasn't. It just was more cleaner. It was bigger. The people were friendlier, and it was different people there for different things. They were coming there for x-rays, they was coming there for CAT scans, they were coming there for MRIs. So nobody knew what anybody was actually there for. So when I went there, I went to the front desk. I gave the lady my referral paper. She took it, she asked for my ID, she scanned it, and she gave me a clipboard with paperwork to fill out. I had a seat, I filled out the paperwork, I came back, she gave me back my ID, she gave me back my referral paper, and I gave her the clipboard, and I sat there. So I want to say I waited for someone to come and get me, maybe like 10 minutes. And when I was called, the radiologist came and got me, which was a lady. I wish to God I remembered her name. I'm not sure if I would have even put her name out there, but if she ever come across my video, I just want to tell her thank you. I'm a little bit getting emotional because she was like heaven sent. She was amazing to me. Not like my other experience I had in Queens. So when I got back there, she went through the third procedure of, here's the gown, take off your clothes, put the gown on, make sure the opening is to the front. And she explaining these things to me, and I broke down and cried right there. And the first thing she said to me was, do you mind if I give you a hug? And I was like, I do not mind at all. And she gave me a hug, and she asked me, what is your concerns? What are you worried about? And I proceeded to let her know that 1, I was nervous. 2, I was scared. This was my first mammogram. They found something. Now I have to do a biopsy. I do not know what calcifications is. I do not know what's going on. I have nobody to talk to. Nobody will answer any of my questions. And she stopped me right there and said, I do not have your report right in front of me, but when we get back there, I will answer any question that you have. I will go through everything, and I'm going to keep it so real with you. If I see that something looks very, very suspicious where it is cancer, I'm going to tell you. And if it doesn't, I'm going to tell you. And if I'm not sure, I'm going to tell you. And when the doctor comes and do the biopsy, he is also a person that's going to keep it real. So if you have it, he's going to let you know. And that is what I needed. I didn't need someone telling me, oh, I don't know, I can't tell you, I can't talk, I can't this, I can't that. I needed someone to be there to answer questions and clear my mind, and that's exactly what she did. So as I finished getting undressed and put the gown on, I walked back there, I got on the table, and she proceeded to explain to me what the biopsy entails, what was going to happen. He was going to come in, he was going to ask me what breast I was going to do the biopsy. This is just the procedures, I guess, what your name is, what your date is, before he starts the procedures. So as she went through that, she pulled up my record, she's looking through it, and she's like, okay, lay down, let me find where the mass is at. So she's going through my right breast to try to find where the mass is at, and she's having a very, very hard time finding. And she's like, you sure you have a mass? And I'm like, yes, this is what they're saying. And she's looking and she's looking and she's looking, and then finally she came across and she's like, oh my God, this is extremely small. So I'm like, oh, okay, so that's a good thing. She said, well, it's a good thing because if it is something, that means you caught it really, really in time, right? So after she saw it, she told me the truth, the honestness. She said, I don't really know what this is. This doesn't look like cancer, but I can't tell you if it is, if it ain't. And I told you I was going to be 100% honest. I don't know. So when he comes in, you can speak to him, and then maybe he'll have more of a say to say nay or yay, right? So he comes in, he introduces himself. He was really a nice doctor. I really don't have anything bad to really say about him. I think he has a lot of patience, so he just had to get in and out, which it seems like that's a lot of doctors nowadays. They just come in, they do their job, and they out of there. And I think that we as patients are looking for more compassion and more coddling and more hand holding and more bedside manners, if that's to say. But I have nothing bad to say about him. He was amazing. He really was. So he did proceed to ask me those questions that she told me that he was going to ask me about the breast and my name and my date of birth, and I answered them all. And then he said, okay, so I'm going to explain the procedure to you. And he did explain the procedure to me. But before he explained the procedure to me, I asked him about the mass that he saw, and he told me that it was a really, really small mass. He said that he doesn't think it's cancer, but he really doesn't know. He never really seen this type of mass, and I guess the way it looked, and he said that he just really don't know. And I told him that I had calcification as well, and he said, oh, so you have calcification with the mass? And I said yes. He said okay, so he understands why it needs to be biopsy. So I asked him about BI-RADS score, and this is the reason why it's so important for you to educate yourself. I will not say it's important for you to self-diagnose yourself, but I definitely would say that it's really important for you to educate yourself and know what you're talking about, and always advocate for yourself, because these are the questions that you need to ask someone if you're looking for certain answers at the end of the day. And I needed to know if he needed to put me in a BI-RADS score at the end of the day. What BI-RADS score would he put me in by looking at this mass? And I forgot to tell you that not only with the BI-RADS score, when you fall under BI-RADS 4, it's a BI-RADS 4 A, B, or C. A being like it is most likely not, B being maybe in the middle, and C being more towards number 5, the BI-RADS score 5. So I asked him what BI-RADS score would he put me in, A, B, and C BI-RADS 4, because I was already put in BI-RADS 4, so I just needed to know the A, B, and C. And he looked at me very shocked that I even knew what a BI-RADS score was. And he said, I see you've been doing your homework. And I said, I absolutely have, at the end of the day. And he turned to me and he said, I will put you in a BI-RADS 4B. So that means that he really, honestly, it was just literally like a 50-50 situation at the end of the day with me. And that, it did not scare me at that point. It made me understand that, one, my mass was really small, so I caught something in time, if it was something. And two, they was answering every question that I had, and they were being truthful. So let's get into the procedure now. So they take this needle, and I don't know if you know these pens back in the days where they have the different colors, and you click on them and it shows red, and then you click on the blue and the red one pops up. So it was something like that type of pen, right? So they go and they put the needles there to numb the area first. He wipes it, he cleans the site that he's gonna do it. He has the wand to do the ultrasound so that he can make sure that he's going into the right area. And he tells me, okay, right now I'm going to numb the area. Now with the needle, initially you're gonna feel like a pinch, nothing crazy to me. So when he did it, I just felt a little pinch, but I think I was just more on edge about what was going on. I didn't care about the pain. I didn't care. I just wanted to know if I had breast cancer. So I really didn't care. So let's get this show on the road, right? So when he stuck me, I felt a little pinch. He said, am I okay? I said, yes, I'm okay. I'm fine. Let's get it. So then he said, you're going to hear a click, and I'm going to take 5 samples from this so we can make sure that we get enough tissue to do a biopsy with it, because we do not want this to come back incomplete. We do not want them to say they didn't have enough tissue. So that's exactly what he did. So when he stuck it, I didn't feel anything because my breast was numb, and the only thing you hear is a pop, a pop, a click, a pop, a pop. And he did it. He said, I'm doing it one more time, and he just kept doing it. I think like I said, he took 5 samples, and boom, bam, it was over with. It was a little bleeding. He put a tape over the area. He said the tape will fall off. He told me that I couldn't do any exercising, lifting up anything for 3 days. Do not take the tape off. Let the tape fall off on its own, and that I'm gonna be a little sore when the numbing wear off. Fine. So he told me thank you, and then I said to him, he asked me if I had any more questions, and I said to him I had a question about my mammogram. And this is why I say I had nothing bad to say about this doctor, because he said, when you finish getting, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a part here. You have to have a chip put in. So as he finishing the biopsy, he goes and he puts a chip, and this chip stays in place because they need to know when you do your next mammogram in a year or 6 months that it was a finding there, and that this area was a problem. So they're not making any more, it's not alarming them. It's not, you know, they know that there's an issue there and that this is something that does not need to be biopsied later on. There's a problem unless something else surfaces. So he's telling me that after I go get another mammogram so they can make sure that the clip is put in correctly at the end of the day, that I can come to his office and he's going to show me on the screen, right, what my mammogram looked like and what the calcifications look like. This doctor was amazing. Listen, this facility, I have nothing bad to say about them. Nothing at all. So I go to the next room to get the mammogram done, and same procedure, plop that boob in, smash it down, click click click. The only thing now, it is a little bit more painful because you just got cut. So of course it's going to be a little bit more painful than it was before, but I just took it like a champ at the end of the day, because what else was I going to do? I was going to cry about it. I couldn't. So she had to take a lot of pictures because she needed to make sure she got the imaging correctly for him so he can see it, and she needed to make sure that that clip was where that clip needed to be. So it took a little longer than my first mammogram. So after that happened, I left out, I got dressed, and I met him in his office, and he pulled up my mammogram that they just took, and he showed me where the clip was, he showed me where the mass was, and he showed me my calcifications. And my calcifications was spread out. They were like particles like thrown there, and they were big. So my little research that I did about my calcification, I knew those calcifications was not cancerous. They were popcorn, and they were spread out. They were not in a line. They were good. They were good, healthy calcifications. And I told him those calcifications are not cancerous, and he said they're not cancerous. And they're not worried about the calcification. They're worried about the mass they found with the calcification. And I said, I understand. I told him thank you. I was really appreciative of him. And I went and I found the radiologist, and I told her thank you. And I just told her how they really put my mind at ease. She told me that she's going to do a rush order for me, which was Friday. She said, I'm going to try to do a rush order so this will not be on your mind, because I see that you have really bad anxiety, and we're going to get this results soon as possible. And I thanked her for that. So once again, I'm going to end this video with that, because I don't want my videos to be long, and we're going to do a part 3 of my results, the findings, the results, and all that good stuff, and what happened after my results. And that will be most likely the last part of my cancer scare. Okay, so I thank you. I truly appreciate y'all out there. Thank you for listening to my story, and stay blessed and highly favored. Love you. Take care.